All right, so I want to just show you some things here. This is the drywall doctor again. We've been having problems with the lighting, but I have this plaster repair, and if you look really closely, you'll see this is plaster, and this is not good plaster. If you look at this plaster really closely, you'll see little fibers and how these things are hanging off of here. That's because this is horsehair. This is what they call horsehair plaster. They wouldn't put horsehair into the plaster mix. If you can look at it really closely, you see all of that hair in there. And they thought, well, it's going to hold the plaster together a lot better. It did, but it's organic and it just rots away. So eventually the plaster gets a lot of cracks and it's very soft. So the slightest little work around it makes it all start falling out. So I've had a lot of problems with this. And they didn't want to have to gut all of the plaster out of here. So what I've learned to do is I pick this stuff up. This is a fiberglass mesh roll. They use it for Dryvit, because once you put Dryvit on, you have to cover the Dryvit with fiberglass mesh tape in a base coat. So what I've learned to do is I can take this, I'm going to cut it to size here a little bit. But I can take this fiberglass mesh tape, and again, even this right here, this is all plaster. So it's really, my little razor knife on top of that plaster isn't going to hurt that much at all. But, so I can take this, cut it to size, and it is a little sticky on the one side. Not a lot sticky, but just a little sticky. And I'll stick this up here and let it stick a little bit. And then I'll cut it into size. But if you notice, it doesn't want to stay. This just does not want to stay. So, I get spray glue. This is spray glue. You can glue corner beads on. You can glue a lot of things on. And I found that this works really, really well for something like this. So, I'll put a little spray glue up there. I got to adjust the tip a little bit. Hang on a second. The tip can turn two different directions. So, but this one is not. So I'm just going to put a little spray glue up here just so it'll hold the stuff in. And I also noticed too, if I don't use the spray glue, this stuff will blister up a little bit now and again. I have to let this set up a minute, otherwise it just doesn't work well. But now when I stick this up here, see, it wants to stay. And then, whoops. Hey, we don't whoops here. No more whoops in here. Well, then I have to cut it down. Now, the carpenter told me that this is going to get trimmed practically up to here. It's getting this big top piece on here, but I don't care. I'm going to finish this right down to as low as I can because it's what I do. I mean, I really don't like to hear where the crown molding is going to be, where the cabinets are going to be, where this or that is going to be, because truthfully, they're paying me to finish the drywall that's in the house. Let's finish the drywall that's in the house. So I'm going to finish this right up to here where it would normally get finished. I'm going to cut this out of here. I'm just cutting off the excess that's not necessary. And if you remember, if you saw this on the tape a little bit, there's a big hole here. I mean, this is a big piece of plaster missing, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be there. This will fill in. And then I'm going to cut this in a little bit. Now, if you notice, it didn't quite cover this right here. Now, if I have a piece big enough, which I thought I did, so I do. I have this piece here, but I'm not going to use that. Let's go grab some other fiberglass mesh tape that I have, because I've got some other stuff in here that I like to use. This is the fiberglass mesh tape I really enjoy using because it's got the crisscross in there. If you can see that really well, I don't know if you can or not, but this is the fiberglass mesh tape that I really like to use. I have very few problems with this particular fiberglass mesh tape, and now I can tape up all of these other seams that's where the plaster is meeting the drywall. Now, I only really use fiberglass mesh tape for a couple of things. One is when I'm going on top of plaster. And the other one is when I am doing Durarock. When I'm trying to float out Durarock so they can tile it, I will use fiberglass mesh tape. Now I'm going to put this fiberglass mesh tape on all these other joints. It's going to look just like this, okay? And I'm going to get it on all, just the joints where the drywall and the plaster are together. And then I'll come back in and I'll mud this up and show you what it looks like when it's mudded up. All right? I'll be right back. I want to thank you for watching. I hope it's educational. I hope you've learned something. So if you really like what you see, please subscribe.